You want my property? You can't have it. But I did you a big favor. I have successfully privatized world peace.
That one scene completely immortalized RDJ, and if you still think humility is a virtue, my friend, you are beyond saving. One of the coolest characters in 21st century cinema is Iron Man, and by extension Robert Downey Jr. himself. Simply put, because he embodies all the traits a man should embody in order to command respect from everybody else. On a personal level, I've actually used this kind of archetype in order to build my own charismatic style, in order to become a lot more confident, in order to become a lot more witty. And if you're the kind of person who's like, I don't want to copy anyone, I want to be authentic, I want to be myself, fine, suck to your social life, be uncharismatic, be like a shy individual that doesn't get any attention, and doesn't get any respect. But before you click off this video, hear me out. No one is really themselves. You're a conglomeration of everyone that you met. If you spend time with your friends, you become more like your friends. If you spend time with your parents, you become more like your parents. So why are you so scared of molding yourself? Because in reality, no one is really themselves. They're a collection of everyone and anyone that they've experienced and interacted with. Let me show you exactly what you can learn from Robert Downey Jr. and how you can implement that in your life. Now, drill this into your head. You are the most important person in your life. Once you start putting anyone or anything above you in terms of importance, you give up that power. Always ask, can this person, how can this situation, how can this opportunity benefit me? And that sounds a little bit like narcissism, doesn't it? And that's because it is. Believe it or not, it's a lot more common than you think. And the whole stigma from narcissism actually comes from narcissistic personality disorder, where these people are just like completely self-obsessed to the point narcissism is on steroids. But a little bit of narcissism is healthy, and this is what you're going to do. Humans by default are actually very narcissistic individuals. They're very selfish individuals. They want to think about how they're going to survive the next winter, how they're going to elevate themselves in society. Everybody does this subconsciously. Think about it. If you had a very energy draining friend, would you stick around? No, you'd get rid of them. You go and find friends that are more fun to be around, that are more lovable to be around, that are more happy to be around. So in essence, by definition, you are already a little bit of a narcissist by default. You are, I am, everybody is. Tony Stark's entire persona comes from the world revolves around me. I'm the most important person in my universe. And this kind of confidence cannot be faked. It can't be superficial because people will see through it. In order to get that kind of confidence, it needs to come from the inside. It can't be superficial. It needs to be 100% on point. It comes from proof. You need to prove it to yourself. Do you believe that you can do what you say you can do? In fact, your entire focus should be building a skill. Your entire focus should be becoming good at something that you can say to other people, I'm doing pretty well for myself and I'm living the life that I want to live. And if you had the balls to do it, you would be doing it too. Don't modify yourself to become socially acceptable. We all exist on a spectrum. Not an autistic spectrum, but a spectrum nevertheless, right? A spectrum of social egotism, a spectrum of confidence, right? You don't need to become similar to everybody around you. You can be a little bit similar so you can fit in. We don't need to be absolutely the same. Diversity is our strength. So don't be shy about having your priorities in check. Don't be shy about being blunt about it. You can get away with narcissism. You can get away about being self-centered very easily, as long as you're fun to be around. You've seen that classical line when RDJ says, I don't like to be handed things. See, if anybody else did that, you'd think he's a complete douchebag. But because it's Tony Stark, because it's Robert Downey Jr., you're like, it's just funny, he's just a diva. And people love him for it. Now my second point is intelligence and wit. Tony Stark is the genius, playboy, billionaire, philanthropist. He is smart, right? But when you think smart, when I think smart, what comes to our head? It's either that freckled kid with spectacles, I study 9 hours a day, or the nerd, right? That is completely entrenched in some fantasy world and he's like, I can tell you the blaster serial number that was used by the clone trooper to shoot down Obi-Wan. What? I hate this. These kind of people actually made it very embarrassing to actually be smart. But trust me, when you're intelligent, you have a significant amount of variety. You know something about everything and you're very much respected because you can go from conversation topic to conversation topic. In fact, the most charismatic, confident, witty, intelligent people can talk to me for like 2 to 3 to 4 hours and I will not get bored because every time they bring something out, I'm like, wow, how did he know this? That's impossible. Never shy away from intelligence. Never be ashamed of being brainy, right? Because you're the most interested person in the room because of that. You want to understand what's going on in the world. You want to understand multiple viewpoints. You want to understand politics. You want to understand literature. You want to understand a lot of things. Having multiple avenues of interest and multiple avenues of conversation will benefit you in the long term. Now, there's no point having intelligence and not knowing how to use it. So intelligence is a little bit like your engine, right, of the car. While The wit is more like the handling, how quick you can go from 0 to 60. You will see, eventually as you progress through your social life and as you progress through making conversation and becoming witty, you will see that certain jokes, certain voice modulations, certain ways in communicating will entertain people more than others. Prime example of this is Deadpool, so we'll make a video on how to be witty like Deadpool and how to embody that same charisma, break it down completely. So, hit that subscribe button and that bell button because that's one of the videos we're going to make next. So a little bit of spoiler for that video, I'm going to tell you a little tip. The more jokes that you put out there, the better you become, right? Wit is a little bit like a muscle in the brain, right? I know muscle's not brain, etc, etc. But what I'm saying here is that the more you practice wit, the better you will become at it. Start making stupid jokes, start making jokes which are not even funny, right? Eventually, after the 100th joke, the 101st joke is going to be funny. So the trick I want you to do next time you're in conversation, what you're going to do is you're going to make something funny. You're going to listen to what the other person is saying and try and make something funny out of it, right? You can make something funny about anything, really, but prime your mind to look for comedy. It doesn't need to be funny. You just need to make it funny. You just need to make a joke out of it. And the more you do this, other people are going to be like, ah, that joke is a flop, or that joke was stupid. But it doesn't matter, because you're building your wit. And the next thing that Tony Stark is very, very good at doing is that he is very good at being light-hearted. See, everyone from the lowest rank to the highest rank, everyone wants to be entertained. Everyone wants to have fun. So the more light-hearted you are and the less serious that you are, the more they like you. That's how you become more magnetic, because you're giving people what they are craving. No one really wants to be serious. People want to be entertained. People want to have fun. Going back to that video, you can see Tony summoned to this Senate hearing committee or whatever, right? And these guys have the power to defame him. These guys have the power to sanction his companies. And what does he do? He makes a complete joke about it. Wherever Tony Stark is, there is also his arrogance and his swagger. Stark is also the character that is very, very good at controlling the frame. And when I mean controlling the frame, you control what other people focus on. You'll always see him walking and doing something at the same time. He may be talking to someone, he may be talking out loud, he may be fiddling with something. What does that do? What does that make you think? It makes you think that that guy's brain is working 10 times faster than you. He is more busier than you. That in itself directs your attention. You know, for example, when he's walking into that airship control room with Agent Coulson, like that SHIELD airship control room, and he's just walking, he's talking to Coulson, and he goes in and then he starts talking to like Thor and talking to someone else, and eventually gets to that point, and then he goes, that man is playing Gallagher. Think you didn't notice, but we did. What is he doing there? He's shifting the attention to something that they were already focusing on, right? Clearly, these guys were just focusing on something before he walked in. So he walks in, makes a scene, and shifts their attention. This is how you direct the frame. Why? Because it makes him the center of attention. It makes him the focus. So walk in like someone important, start directing other people's life, and you can have so much fun with this. And most of the time, it just works, right? Because people generally accept what you project simply because they're all in their heads. Now, this may seem a bit weird to say, but people want to be controlled. They just want to feel like that they have freedom. You go and direct their lives. For example, one of my friends, he did this very, very well. So this is a story he told me, and I'm going to tell you, but I don't think he's going to be happy about it because I shared it, right? But he was going into an interview, and then there was like 10 people waiting for the interview. Bro wanted to get that interview done and just get out of there, right? So he went up to those 10 people waiting outside the interview room, and he goes, ladies and gentlemen, can I have your attention, please? I know you're here for this interview with Mr. Smith, or whatever. Unfortunately, there's been a delay of 2 hours for this interview. Would you like to follow me to the cafe over there? And we'll let you know when we're ready. And every one of them got up and followed him. The guy went in, did his interview and left. So walk like you're someone, talk like you're someone, own the frame, direct people's attention. Because those who control the frame control the attention of the masses. And finally, Tony Stark has purpose. He has a vision. He knows what he's supposed to be doing. And his entire focus is on that way. When a man has a purpose, everything changes. Your entire focus is on that. You have that momentum. People just move out the way. You're like this moving boulder, right? If it's a boulder just rolling towards you, what do? You just naturally step aside because you just want it to go past. You don't want to get crushed. And that's the exact same thing when you have presence. He's just there like looking at his phone, he's doing things. He's too preoccupied with his own life, with his own ambitions, that he doesn't really care about what's happening around them. People notice that spark inside you, and that becomes magnetic. So we'll make a video soon on how to discover your purpose and how to focus onto your purpose soon. But essentially what it means is that you know what you want to do and you go and do it. It could be in the long term or it can be the short term. For example, I want to wake up today and I want to do 100 push-ups. I want to finish my morning routine before I leave the house. Don't get in my way. When you have that focus, when you have that drive, when you're in that flow, people respect that simply because a lot of people are not in that flow. And when they see you have momentum, they want to tag along. They want to be with you, or they want to get out of your way. Either way, you get respect and you get admiration. And those are the exact character traits that I want you to embody. Now I've broken it down for you. Go and apply it in real life and see the changes. See yourself like Iron Man. See yourself like Tony Stark. Now adapt your own personality to that.
Man is playing Galaga. Thought we wouldn't notice, but we did.